All right, folks, we're beginning the podcast here in just a minute. Let me get the message sent out that we have begun. All right, there we go. All right, the message is out. Make sure volume and everything is up and adjusted. We are set. All right, let me make sure I can hear myself on YouTube real quick. We been gone for a little bit. Yep, we can. All right, hello everybody. This is Venom with Exiled Existence, and this is our Christmas end of the year episode of the podcast. We weren't around last week. I was actually on vacation with my wife, visiting some family. There was a ton of news while we were gone. Internet was kind of acting a little weird for me, so I didn't get to see all the news I would have liked to. But I've pretty much been catching up for the last week or so. So a lot of things have been going on. Episode is going to be a little bit shorter today. First and foremost, as you probably noticed, I am playing Ark again. I know I talked about my single-player Ark world kind of going belly up. I am actually on the official Ark servers right now. I am playing the new Aberration map. And we're really just getting set up. Look at my wingsuit. Be jealous. So that's what we're playing on. So we got a lot of news that's happened over the last few weeks, and it's all over the exact same stuff for the most part. We're just getting a lot more information about how it's gone. First and foremost, EA still sucks. I don't think anybody disputes that. Hadn't really been too much more out of Battlefront 2 specifically. However, there has been a lot more on the loot box topic. First off, this is actually just recently in the last couple of days. Apple apparently is going to force its app creators to actually put the stats and the chances of winning stuff out of loot boxes, if it's a loot box type game, on their game. So if you say get one of the mobile games, which are usually pretty heavy-handed with loot boxes, they actually have to put what the odds are of getting stuff out of loot boxes. I don't know when it's going to start, but again, this is pretty recent. So you're going to be able to see what your odds are of getting anything out of a loot box here very soon for Apple. And honestly, I see a lot of other companies doing this as well here fairly soon. Now, this has happened in China. Actually, Overwatch, the Chinese government said the same thing with Overwatch. They actually made them put the chances that they'd get in, or you would get anything out of a loot box in their game. The scare here is that Blizzard actually got around this by essentially saying they're not selling loot boxes, that they're selling currency and giving the loot boxes away for free when you buy this currency in-game. So technically, you're buying the currency. You're not actually buying a loot box. So we'll see how much bullshit companies are going to be trying to do in the Apple Store here real soon. Yeah, it really... I don't see them being honest, I should say. But again, that's the mobile market. The mobile market is still the biggest market. I think they were 45% of the overall income of the game industry in 2016 or 15. But they're still leading with PC gaming right behind them. So I'm getting ready to start building a base on here too. So I'm doing a little bit of playtime. Haven't had too much time to sit down and play this in a really good long session yet. So that's what I'm doing. Getting our Dodickers tamed up so we can start on some stone stuff. What else has happened? One of the biggest things that happened, and this is really, it's more ongoing news. It's Destiny 2. Wow, so much has happened with Destiny 2. Okay, so when last we left off, Curse of Osiris, crappy DLC. People weren't happy with it. I did not get to try out the Masterwork weapons and stuff. They are out. Truth be told, I can't bring myself to play the game right now. especially with Aberration out right now, and if nothing else, other games I could be playing. I just cannot bring myself to play that game. Now, Masterwork weapons have come out. So far, from what I can see, the stats, and let me actually backtrack for a second. For those who don't know, Destiny 2 had 2 updates. They had I think the December 5th update, and the December 12th update. December 5th was Curse of Osiris, I believe. I think I'm getting it right. I might be off. Long story short, the December 12th update brought a new weapon type to Destiny 2, the Masterwork weapon. Essentially, it is a single randomly rolled stat on certain legendary weapons. There's a chance when you get a legendary item, it could be a Masterwork, and certain activities give you a higher chance to get a Masterwork weapon. So essentially, Masterwork weapons are a step above legendary. They're legendaries, but they have that, rollable perk on there. The problem people are seeing is that the perks really kind of suck. They don't really give you much. We're talking something along the lines of one perk will be, 1 or 2 bullets extra in your gun. That's not a great perk. Maybe an extra 10 range. I mean, these are the kind of perks that are on there. Now, some people, some aren't. To be honest, the people I see that are happy with them are people whose entire channel is nothing but Destiny 2. So, I'm not saying there's a correlation there. But I am saying that it seems only people who only cover Destiny 2 seem to like this stuff. The rest of the community does not seem to like it at all. Man, so much more stuff with this. Sorry. PSA again, don't smoke, kids. It's terrible for you. Alright, let's get down. And this in any particular order because they keep doing so much crap. The Dawning event, the Christmas event for Destiny 2. Also just happened, or is actually going on right now. And as you can expect, there's the tower is all dressed up in snow and crap, snow everywhere. You can do snowball fights. And of course, there are special items that you can get for this event. Now, in Destiny 2, there's 2 types of items. There are the Eververse items, the paid items or the loot box items. And there are, the items you can go out and earn in game. Guess where all the items are at that you can get for this event. Shouldn't actually have to guess, because neither answer is right. Apparently, the Bright Ingrams do not drop the items for this event. You can either buy the Ingrams for these, and again, it's a separate Ingram apparently, separate system, or there are ways to earn, I believe, 3 per week for your entire account. Not 3 per character, 3 per week's what's being reported. Now again, normally when I report Destiny 2 news, it's stuff that I've seen myself and played. Again, this situation, I've just refused to actually play the game. And I'm smoking right now, too. That's why I'm taking pauses. So, needless to say, a Christmas event, and this is what it is. A Christmas event by Destiny 2 is essentially an event where they just want you to spend a crap ton of money. That's all it is. It's supposed to be, hey, great time of year. A lot of games love events. They do fun Christmassy stuff. They give... maybe give out some free gear, maybe up some kind of chances. They might change stuff like, social spaces. Destiny 2's done that, but again, their entire event is essentially paid. And we have reports coming out that to get every item, if you buy them, it costs anywhere between $100 was the initial report, and someone spends up to $600 to get the items. And apparently, again, they're all random. I can't confirm that part. Well, that's what it sounds like because we got 2 different, very huge price differences, but it is what it is. Hey there, Dark Kent. How you doing? So, yeah, Destiny 2 has continued to screw up and screw over their community. And now their Christmas event is nothing but can't even say pay to win because it's not really any... Well, you kind of can now because a lot of the items that are coming out now actually have in-game applications. Ghost shells are coming out that give you things like more experience, more consumables, like coins and things. So yeah, it's actually starting to become kind of a pay-to-win system. I'm sorry, someone's talking to me here in the game chat. So, oh yeah, some people here. And again, this is not really a too official a podcast right now. It's just a Christmas edition. I'm kind of chilling out. So you guys get to watch me play some games while we're going over the news. No thanks. I'm not tribing up with random people. Alright there. Alright, I told them I wouldn't try them. They seem to be okay with it. They're not going crazy or anything. This is a PvE server too, so I'm not worried about them trying to do anything stupid. So yeah, the Destiny 2 event. Oh, awesome. Good stuff. But wait, did I not re-equip my stuff? I'm all over the place. Hard to focus when I'm playing and doing the podcast at the same time. But yeah, basically the event is a pay-to-win event. All the items, if you want to get them, basically you're going to have to pay for them. And apparently there's a bunch of items. I mean, there's whole armor sets, one for each character. I'm pretty sure it's ghost shells. Again, this is secondhand information. I'm openly admitting this, and again, this is just because I can't bear to play this. I just can't do it. But yeah, Destiny 2's pissed up the player base. No big surprise there. So besides that, oh crap, we got issues around here. What is that level? That's a 90. We're gonna kill some Ravagers on screen here. It's gonna be good times. Good times. You can watch a fight. We'll see you guys neutral, and you all go attack those hookers. Hey, someone just joined us. Who's this? Hello? One of my tribe mates just hopped on. Hello?
Hello.
Hey, I'm hosting the podcast.
All
Alright, I'm hosting the podcast right now, so don't play any, like, music or anything in the background.
Oh, from copyright?
Yep. Don't want any of that stuff. We're just kind of going over, I mean, it's just me right now, but we're going over a little bit of news. So since you're here, you might as well join in. I was actually just talking about some of the latest Destiny 2 blunders that were going on. Currently talking about the Dawning and how all the event was essentially a big, item. I can't even say, well, basically it was a pay-to-win event is what it was. The event was essentially special loot boxes. And I was just going over this. Apparently, I didn't know this at first, and I found out later. The items drop off of Ingram for the Eververse. They're normally like bright Ingrams. Normally when a game does an event with something like that, they put the event items in whatever the paid loot boxes are. They've got a whole separate Ingram system for this, so you can't even go through and actually grind these out. You're maxed out on 3 per account per week, and the only other way to get them all is to buy them. So essentially they shoved more payment stuff on top of the payment crap they already had going. And then the final portion of this...
That's why I kind of stopped playing Destiny 2.
Yeah, exactly. And all the information I've got from all this events going on right now is secondhand just because I refuse to play it. But the last thing, Destiny actually just re-released their 3 coins. Now, I know you remember. Did you ever play Destiny 1?
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah. I absolutely grinded the shit out of that game.
Yep, so Destiny 1 had 3 coins, and we all know you would pop a coin before like a big boss or something, and it would, exponentially increase
It drops an exotic.
Yep, would drop an exotic. Now, they put the 3 coins into Destiny 2 now, and they've changed up the way it works. So now it's essentially like a coin. The medallions, it gives you a 4-hour 50% bonus on your exotic drop chances. So instead of, one-time use, it's like a 4-hour buff.
Yeah, that's good as.
It would be, except for it doesn't work in hardcore or in hardcore strikes. So the community went through, because they've been tearing apart everything that Bungie does right now with Destiny. And it doesn't work in the strikes. People were actually reporting that they seem to have a lower drop chance when using the coin. No one could figure out what was going on with it. And of course, after the fact, after the community was already getting screwed, Bungie came out and said, oh yeah, we're working to see what's going on with it. The boost chance is like 50%, which is, if you only have a 1% chance to get exotic anyway, that just boosts it up to 1.5%. So it still might as well be nothing. But apparently the longer or more stuff you do, the bigger the bonus you get. But again, only 4 hours. So, I mean, how many activities can you get done in 4 hours? I mean, you're going to have to get...
Oh, couldn't you just do it 2 times and it activates it for 8 hours?
Not that I know of. Matter of fact, you can't. I don't think you can do that with the medallions. But Bungie, since you came back and said, nah, he's on. He hadn't been on here though. But yeah, essentially they came out and said, oh yeah, apparently this didn't work the way we thought. It's essentially the same as the experience system. The coins didn't work the way we thought, and as of right now, you got a better chance of getting an exotic using the medallion, which of course you can pay for, than you do with 3 coins. So, yeah, the community's not liking that either. Essentially, the 3 coins is broken. Still super low exotic chances, which is what it's supposed to be, but it essentially does nothing right now. So, another broken system Destiny has. So, along with, you know, the crappy expansion, along with Masterworks essentially having shitty stats, along with the Dawning being a pay-to-win event, the 3 coins, the in-game stuff, the stuff you don't actually have to pay for with money, doesn't work. So, big shocker there. The community is leaving Destiny 2 in droves. I mean, I'm curious to see how many players are still going to be around after the season pass is done. Because, again, I'm going to play what the next expansion is just because I've already bought it. But after that, I'm not buying any more passes. Unless, and I know they're not going to do this, I'm pretty much planning on not playing Destiny 2 again unless they get rid of the Eververse. Because it seems like all their focus is, if nothing else, is focused on the Eververse. They're not focused on in-game stuff. They're not focused on, you know, quality content. And even if they've only got maybe 10% of their staff working on Eververse, which, by the way, would be really crappy because if the game sucks as it is, I mean, adding in that extra 10% of employees to work on a game still wouldn't be good. But if they took those employees working on Eververse and put them on the game, I mean, that'd be way better for the game, I should say. They could focus on making better content. But essentially, I'm done with Destiny 2 right now unless they get rid of Eververse. No more microtransactions for them. They've lost. I don't think any AAA company has a right to do microtransactions, but they've definitely lost the right. So, good stuff. Good stuff.
Destiny is meant to be a game where you're meant to grind for your stuff, not to pay and get it.
Yeah, exactly. And their whole thing is you're supposed to get a sense of accomplishment, get in this stuff, and what's the... I mean, there's no sense of accomplishment right now. You don't really have to grind to get much.
Pretty much using your money, being a dickhead, just buying it when you can just wait patiently for a week, but that's stupid when they should just fix it.
Exactly. And the last part of this...
So you're just wasting your time on a game you shouldn't be wasting your time on.
Yeah, basically. And then the last part of this whole debacle was Xur's got new Fated Engrams. So the Fated Engrams are supposed to be Engrams that give you a super high chance of getting an exotic you don't have already. Apparently, they're broken because for some reason the Fated Engrams don't seem to register the exotics you have correctly. I don't know the specifics on this one.
You could get exotics that you already got.
Yeah, apparently it's reading some exotics as you already having them, like the ones you don't have as the ones you already have. I don't know all the particulars, but it's not reading the exotics you have correctly. So people are getting items that they already have. I'm getting stuck on these Ravagers. People are getting a bunch of items that they already have.
That really pissed me off.
Yep, like I said, I don't know how much longer anyone in the community is going to be sticking around them, but...
They're just wasting their time arguing with them. They're not going to fix it.
Yeah, they're not going to unless they just lose all their money. And unfortunately...
the one biggest mistake they made with Destiny was making Destiny 2. That was the biggest mistake they ever made. They should have just made it a DLC for Destiny 1.
I think the biggest mistake they had, game-wise, is the fact that they started adding in microtransactions. Because once they started, it seems like that's where their main focus is. Getting like a shell of a game out, like a very minimal game.
Microtransactions have always been in the game.
No, they weren't in there in the beginning of Destiny 1. They started coming in around year 2, I believe, and then they started making money off of them. But yeah, originally they weren't in there. They added them in. They did add them in Destiny 1.
I bought for my Titan and Warlock. I got all of the Christmas skins for all 3 of my characters. And then I just pretty much wasted $120 right there. Since the game's no longer really playable now, a lot of servers are up for Destiny 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they pretty much just robbed us.
Pretty much.
Because I did that on purpose. As soon as the Christmas event finished, they said, oh yeah, there's a new game coming out, you won't be able to play this. So you would buy those skins and stuff. Yeah,
essentially. And of course, they made a big deal about nothing transferring over, which is also something I hadn't thought about. How many people bought skins and, bought emotes and stuff? Destiny made or Bungie made a big deal about the fact that we'd be starting over. We wouldn't have anything from Destiny 1. How many people spent, hundreds of dollars on skins and emotes and freaking ornaments that are missed out on that. That are gone now. So, yeah, more shitty news. So, good stuff. Elsewhere in gaming news, we're going to go and get off Destiny because we can talk about Destiny, all day. Again, I mentioned I'm playing Aberration right now. Arc did release their newest expansion while I was on vacation, so I didn't get to talk about it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Aberration is out. I was on vacation last week, last week.
Where'd you go?
Maryland, visiting wife's family.
Oh, nice.
Yep, Aberration came out while I was there, so I was playing on single player over there. And then
they didn't put much time in making Aberration a good map because there's always a lot of floating bushes and dinos and all that. They just float there. It's annoying.
It is a bit glitchy. I do notice for some of the floating dinos or get on top of like the mushroom trees, and then when you break them down, they just won't fall. So, yeah, but they've also got weird, just the way the engine runs. I mean, they got weird placement on all maps. They got a floating beehive
too. Like near our base is just a chilling beehive that's just floating on midair.
Oh yeah, I see it. I passed it many a time. I need to check.
They rushed it too much. They rushed the map too quick. I suggest, in my mind, before they released it, I was personally thinking they shouldn't release it until next year and put more time into it.
Well, it's not necessarily the map itself. It's just how some stuff is generating in here. Because the map itself is fine, but yeah, there are occasionally you'll see some floating.
The spawning's stupid and all that.
Well, some of the stuff can't even be despawned. Like the beehives, yeah, that's one that's obviously, that's a little weird that we got some that are in midair too. But again, some of the stuff that's floating in midair was, say, spawned on a rock or something or a tree, and then it got broken down and now it's just floating there. Pretty common with dinos, but you're right, we got, like, right here where I'm standing, for anyone watching, we had a couple of grass patches, not harvestable grass or bushes or anything, but just grass patches that were just floating in midair right here. So, but I've also seen that kind of thing on other maps too. So Ragnarok was one I actually saw quite a few floating things on. I did see a few floating dinos, but not many. Aberration definitely got a lot of floating dinos.
Yeah, that's why I don't really play Rag. It's another map that they rushed. Scorch,
I know.
That was like the best map that they could have ever made. Like I'm just digging this map so hard.
Scorch
I spent so much time into this on Legacy with tech and staying up in the morning, and I'd love Scorch, man.
Yeah, Scorch I've spent at least half of all my playtime. Before it was like almost all of it, but
this is pretty much all of my playtime, man.
At least half to somewhere between 50 to 80% of all my time playing was in Scorched Earth.
Mine's 90% probably Scorched Earth, and then I used to play the center, which is probably 9%, and Aberration 1%.
No, Aberration's a pretty good one. I'm actually taming a Dodicarus right now, so we can start making our...
I'll be coming over soon after I take this mine wipe, so I don't have 500 food. I accidentally put 500 food instead of 500 weight.
No, correct. Yeah, it's not good.
So I built another one.
Let's pump this thing full of some torpidity. And again, everybody remember this is kind of an off the cuff podcast, just because it's the last one of the year. So we're putting some effort into it, but we're more just kind of chilling out a little bit on this one.
Having fun, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, most of the news has been loot box stuff. I mean, we know what happened with Apple, Destiny 2. That's just really. The game itself is... Apple. Yeah, you weren't here for that. Apple has now made it to where... my brain for it. Creators, like Apple creators, now have to start posting the stats of getting stuff out of the loot boxes for stuff in the Apple Store. So if you got like a mobile game, pay to win games are there all the time. Any game that's got loot boxes in the Apple Store is going to have to start putting up what the odds are of getting all the items out of their loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, of course, in the midst of all the stuff going on with the ESRB, right? Or not the ESRB, with EA right now, with Destiny, all the loot box crap. That's where that's coming from.
Yeah. Alright, I'm just transferring everything into me vault, and I'll be over in 5 minutes.
Alright.
Come back to base, and what's the plan? What are we doing?
No, Dicker's still got about another hour to go before it's tamed, but
Are you
pretty much.
starting it or no?
No, I just got in there. I mean, it's right by the base. I'm not too worried about it. It's on times too, so.
It's but, not. Damn.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, we're on times 2 this weekend.
Sweet.
So basically, we're going to get our base built. That's what we're going to work on. Right now, we've got 5 total Ravagers, and I'm about to get a 6th one here in a little bit. Once the Dodicarus is tamed, sweet. And then, yeah, we're going to be set.
Do you want to raise some things on Scorched after we get the base built?
I might see about getting the Wyvern egg and getting it going.
Because I was thinking of popping 4 Rex eggs. 4 Rex eggs, yeah.
Well, and again, I'll think about it. I'm kind of wanting to try to get to the Rock Drakes as quick as we can. Because once the base is up, we just got to collect the stuff we need to get down there, and we can start working on it.
Mm.
All right, let me finish the podcast.
We're also doing a boss fight anytime soon this weekend.
All right, let me get back to this real quick. So we're going to have to... Actually, was there any other news? There's not really a whole lot of other gaming news going on. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot right now. I mean, just... There's a lot of boring stuff, like, you know, Switch sales, which I think they're up to almost 3 million sales right now, so they're having a great first year. What else do we got going on? Net neutrality happened. They repealed net neutrality. Every single YouTuber... I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it because there's a lot of different crap to it. Long story short, in 2015, President Barack Obama essentially signed into law. He essentially signed in a bunch of law into regulation, or signed into law a bunch of regulations governing the internet and about what you can and can't do on it, essentially for like ISPs and stuff. Basically, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I guess the way I could describe it is like forced fairness, I guess, would be the best way to do it. Basically, that no internet service provider could purposely throttle certain sites or anything like that. The whole thing is stupid because people are freaking out as though suddenly internet service providers are going to start, you know, throttling certain websites or making you pay more for certain websites. And it wasn't happening before this was put into law. And it's unlikely that
the whole world or just America?
Good question. I want to say just America, but long story short, a lot of people have been freaking out about net neutrality as though it's the end of the internet, and it's not, and we were just fine. This was only from 2015, but for some reason, all the gamers seem to think this, or pretty much every YouTuber's like freaking out about this, and I don't know, it's gotten really political.
Thank God they don't put up with it, because I'm not in America.
No, it's not really something that I normally cover, but I mean, it is something that a lot of gamers have been talking about. Just in case anyone's curious, I do not support net neutrality. Just free up everything. Stop freaking out about it. And that's literally all I'm ever going to say about this again. Just because I know at some point someone's going to ask about it. Anything that restricts any kind of freedom, I'm against. So, yeah, I'm glad they repealed it. You don't like me for that. Too bad. Any restrictions on any kind of freedom, I don't like, so... Let's see, what other gaming news we got right now?
I'm transferring over to Aberration.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of people, and this is just me going through my YouTube feed right now. Again, nothing really specific on the agenda for today, just kind of a rehash of the year. And by the way, again, we got over 100 subscribers now. We're up to 103. A lot of subscribers. We really appreciate the support. So, yeah, I'm really glad we've gotten that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, mostly what's going on is every single big network is talking about, EA losing $3 or up to $6 billion now in stock prices. They're talking about the Destiny 2 issues. They're talking about Battlefront 2 issues. It's a lot of pretty much old news, but it's just, pushing further and further out. More states have joined in to try to ban loot box games or make them 21 and over, which I am fine with, actually. The ESRB may not want to rate it as gambling. I say it's gambling. I mean, it's the same gambling mechanics. The only difference is there's a technicality of the fact that you can't actually win real money, even though you're spending real money for this gamble. So, yeah, it's a BS technicality. I don't like it. And I am all for... I mean, if we're going to restrict gambling to 21 and over, then this needs to be restricted to 21 and over. That's just me,
21 and over? Damn.
Yeah, gambling in the U.S.
Don't you have to be 21 to drink in the U.S.?
Yes.
Oh, sucked in. We have to be 18.
Yeah, I remember that. And you can bartend to like 16 or something, can't you?
No, you have to be 18 to bartender.
Do you? Oh,
it probably used to be an old rule where you could bartender as a young age, but...
Yeah, when I was in
they
Queensland...
probably changed it because people were probably sneaking and drinking.
Yeah, when I was in Queensland, when we went there, we went to a bar, and yeah, the chick behind the bar was 16, and we were freaking out like, wait, what's the drinking age here? How are you doing this? And she says, like, you could bartend there, but she couldn't drink, but drinking age was 18, so, I mean, again, this was years ago.
Yeah, they probably changed it where young kids can't handle dealing with alcohol until they're 18. So it's like with going to the what's that place called where they give you alcohol or you buy alcohol?
The liquor store?
The liquor store. Like kids can't like hold the alcohol out of the store or hold it, or like a tub of beer for the old elderly.
No,
they don't let kids hold it or anything.
Alright. Other than that, I mean, there's not a whole lot gaming news going on right now. More states have joined in for, the loot box controversy. It's all about EA. It's all about Battlefront 2. It's all about, actually, Overwatch is getting hit a little bit, too. Just because,
Overwatch? Oh, don't even talk about that.
I mean, they've kind of kept under the radar with the whole loot box thing, but everyone's kind of turning their heads.
It's not bad, the loot box. Every level you get a loot box, but...
Yeah, every level you get a loot box, but the whole problem is that microtrans or loot boxes, even cosmetic, I mean, stuff like Overwatch, it's how this whole pay-to-win loot box system got started to begin with. They start introducing to see, hey, what exactly can we get away with, and they start pushing more and more, and now we've gone from freaking cosmetic-only loot boxes to now we got literal games that are just, the more money you pump into it, the better chance you have of winning. So it's essentially a gateway to pay-to-win games. I don't like them. I'm not saying Overwatch is a bad game. I don't play it.
It's not bad. I play it. I don't mind it.
Let's see, Regina is...
Why is there so many people at our base?
There's some new people, yeah. I'm going to start getting the base parts built, but I'm not one to live here. I know Southern's one to live over here, but I don't like it. Just because there's so many new people over here, or many people over here. But, other than that, guys, I mean, there's not much more going on news-wise. We are going to be having our... Let's see, when's the next one? We should have a podcast on the 29th still. So, I mean, this is still the kind of Christmas episode. This will be a full episode on the 29th. So, we'll actually have, a full agenda during the podcast. Today is more of a, hey, it's Christmas. I'm kind of taking a break from stuff. But, other than that, we appreciate you guys watching the podcast and all the support we've gotten all year long. We love you guys. We will be back on next week, the 29th. And we might even have a surprise podcast at some point. But you never know. We will be doing some streaming, too, now that we're back on official. And you can thank James and Southern for convincing me to come back to the official server. So thank them. But I am back on here. I'll be streaming again. I know you guys loved it. And you're going to be getting a lot more. And we're going to be getting some rock drakes, maybe some basilisks. We're going to be getting some good stuff here soon. So thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate the support you've given us all year. And it has been actually 1 year, I think, in a couple of days, or it might have been a few days ago. 1 year ago, I officially started We Have Landed Entertainment as a business. So appreciate it, guys. Appreciate the support. We will see you next week.